Hello, welcome. We are Vizbl and we have a presentation for you. I hope you appreciate it. Let's jump right in. So, our company is a 3D modeling and AR solutions services company. We provide the 3D modeling of your products and the augmented reality solutions for your product to integrate it into your website. So let's talk about what we offer. So we believe that 3D modeling and AR solutions is actually online business's biggest secret. And we'll get into exactly why that is. But what we do is we solve the real challenges for physical product sellers in e-commerce by providing our services and offering our services in 3D modeling and augmented reality development and integration on your website. And we think that this is something that can really attract customers and make your website something unique. Now, your website is your first impression for consumers. They visit your website and that first snapshot, those first few seconds of seeing what your website looks like really gives them an idea of what they're going to expect from your products, your services, your customer service. Everything about you is on that initial glance on your website. It's really the foundation of your brand. And as technology evolves, we get these smarter, more interactive websites that we really believe are essential to standing out in competitive marketplaces. When everyone else in the market has a great looking websites, they're more interactive, they're faster, they're more developed. You might be slipping behind if you don't have the up-to-date features that some of your competitors do that really catch the consumer's eye and keeps them on your website, exploring, looking at your products, looking at your features. So the website is number one when it comes to staying on top. Now, what makes a really great website? So there's quite a lot of things, obviously, as user experience and user design is an extensive field of study, but there are a few things that we believe make a website really great. And in no particular order, we have some clear navigation. Obviously, you want to have all your links in order. You want to have your consumers be able to find where they want to go from where, know where things are. As long as they know where they are, they won't get confused. As soon as they start getting confused, they won't want to stick around, right? We want to have our devices be responsive with our website loading on them. If it takes too long for pictures to load, for paragraphs to load, videos, AR, they're not going to stick around either. This video is taking 2 seconds too long. We're not sticking around. We got to stay here. We got to have things be responsive. We want things punchy. We want things fast. Another fast loading speed, right? Another thing is search functionality. I'm going to be searching on your website. I'm going to be searching on Google, on Bing, and I want to be able to find your website and I want to be able to find things in your website. I'm going to be searching for the products I want to see. So if I'm searching for something and I get a few things that have no relation to what I'm looking for or things that aren't exactly what I'm looking for, I might look somewhere else. I want to look exactly for what I'm looking for, find exactly what I'm looking for, right? Another great thing on websites is to have really excellent testimonials and customer reviews and ratings. If you have this great website and it's showing the product, it's showing this, it's showing that, but you don't have any testimonials saying, this customer rates it 5 stars, here's the review, I really enjoyed this aspect and this aspect, they might skip you by. It's something that really offers a really great show for your website. These reviews and ratings show that your product is something that reached the real world, customers really enjoy it, and you're proud enough of your product and of the review of you to post it front and center on your website. Now, the next couple things are, I think, some of the more important ones, and that's call to action and the high quality visuals and product descriptions. Without those calls to action, the customer won't be invigorated, you won't be catching them, you won't grab them in order to do something. Buy, click this, go to this blog, sign up for our demo, sign up for this. Calls to action are one of those really important things that catch the consumer. And lastly, the high quality visuals, they want your website to look good. They go to your website, you want it to look good, you want it to be seamless, you want to say, oh, the graphics are great, the pictures are great, and the descriptions of these products on center, the grammar, the syntax, everything looking good, obviously. The high quality visuals and product description we're going to get more into, and what these should do on your website for your products and for your services is to describe everything at like a first glance, and if the customer wants to look a little bit more into it, it gets more detailed and more explanatory. So these should explain almost immediately what is the product. If I visit your website and I'm looking at the screen and I don't know what your product is, that's a problem. How does it look in a different color? If I'm serving this product, let's say it's a bicycle, let's say it's a chair, let's say it's a lamp, whatever it is that the product? Am I able to change it to look like something else? What if I have multiple products? Am I able to switch between them? What does this look like in the real world, right? Will this product fit if I'm looking to put this on the wall, if I'm looking to put it in a corner? I don't know how big this is. It's on my screen. How am I supposed to tell what this looks like in the real world? As long as it looks good and you can frame it in a way that the customer knows what they're looking at in context to other items that they recognize in the real world, they'll get a much better understanding of your product. And does it work the way I need it to? So does the product work for my environment? Does it interact with things well? And if I'm on the website, can I really tell that at a glance? Can I interact with it? Does it look good to me, right? So some common challenges for online sellers related to these, obviously, is that no one has the space to put high quality definition video, pictures, product descriptions. Sometimes a lot of things get in the way. There's also these complex customization option issues that they don't know what they're looking at. They select this, they select that. If you're building the website and you give too many options or you make it too difficult for consumers to really understand what's going on, they can select between this option, that option. They scroll down, there's 20,000 different things. Instead of having everything integrated that you can scroll between one thing and the next in an understandable manner, people building these websites, they don't necessarily know how to organize something that'll look good for your consumer. You want to have everything in one place that's easy to navigate, that the consumer can see and say, hey, I understand that, I know what the product is. Simple, easy to go, right? So here are a couple examples of what your product might be. We have a chair, we have some bicycles, and these are great for understanding really the basics of your product. But let's say your consumer is on your website and they're looking at these pictures, and there are some issues with this, right? So on the left, we have the chair. And one of the main issues with this picture is that it's a static image. It doesn't really show everything about the product. If you wanted to show more about the product, you might have to have multiple pictures at different angles and in different albums. And you have to scroll down, you have to choose the best one that you think the customer might relate to. It's like, oh, do they want it at this angle, at this angle? Let's think of the best one and use those pictures, right? It doesn't show all the detail that you might really get. And on the right, we have another problem. These bicycles, look at all these options. Now we only have one view of this, and that's great, but there's so many different options here. Here's 4, but what if there's 10? What if there's 20? There's way too many options. If I'm trying to customize a customizable product, I can't put every single bit of the customizable product. We change the arms here, we change the seat here, we can change this color and that color. Way too many, and you don't want to have to guess and move things around. Just endless variations that will indefinitely and absolutely confuse people. It's not a great site. All right, here's a few more challenges. If you're trying to put a picture on a website, a video on a website, one of the main things that you're looking for is user experience. You want things to be settled in an area that will contribute to the user experience on your website. But if it doesn't fit in, if you have the product here and the product here, and you're either just showing a blank white space, which is fine, or you're showing it in an area like a living room, it doesn't really show the space. It doesn't show how things are settled. You might have a picture on a website, your chair is this big, right? And then you have another chair and it's this big. And the pictures look exactly the same. They show the same size. You can't tell that this one is a half size and it's meant for a kid and the other one is meant for an adult. They're just pictures. You have to go into the product description. You have to look down, you have to read things. No, you want things to be absolutely understandable, visible, and immediate, right? You want these things to be purely comprehensive based on a quick glance, and you want to be intuitive. So if I have these products on my website and they're sitting side by side, they can either take up too much space, too little space, or they won't show how big the product is, and you won't know how to measure them against your real life space. So there's that spatial uncertainty, and the international measurement issues is another thing with that. Like, you're measuring in feet, you're measuring in inches, centimeters, meters. What if you're American and you don't understand the imperial system? Wait, no, the metric system. We barely understand the imperial system as it is, so it's crazy. I want to be able to look at a product and I want to be able to say, okay, it's this big by that big and it goes in this space and that's how it is. That's how big it is, and I can tell just at a glance. I want it to be so simple as a consumer. I want to look at it, I want to say, oh, that's how big it is. Turn it on and off. Oh, great, easy, right? Okay. On the left is an example of what might happen if a consumer buys a product that's a little bit too big for their space. So they go online, they're on your website, it's like, oh, that's a great looking couch. You know what? I'm gonna approximate how big that is, I'm gonna buy it, and boom, it shows up, and it doesn't fit. Because you didn't show them an easy way to see how big the product is, especially compared to everything else in their living room. They've got that giant dresser there. How are they supposed to fit a couch there without first being able to tell how big it is in that space? So they can't tell if your product will fit in their space, right? Also, what if the dimensions are different than the dimensions that they use? They're using centimeters, they're using the metric system, which Americans should probably get to using by now. But you know what? Fine. I'm using inches, and you might be using another metric, and I get super confused. I don't know what this metric is. I don't understand it. I'm an American. Or someone in another country might not be able to use imperial. That's much more understandable. So these things definitely get in the way of consumers understanding how your product fits in their living space. And all these things can definitely be confusing for someone just visiting your website. All right, what is the solution to all of these problems? We believe that the main solution to this is 3D modeling and augmented reality, or AR. So augmented reality, as it's used on the 3D models that we develop for you based on your products. So you might have, let's give another example. Let's say you have a desk, right? And you want to be able to see how big that desk is in the space, and you want it to look great on your website. Fantastic. 3D modeling, what that does is takes your product and fully recreates it in 3D. All the textures, all the limbs, all the detail, everything. Here's your physical product in real space. Boom, here's your 3D model. And we can take that and put it in a digital file, and wow, we have a 3D representation. And then on top of that, augmented reality, we can say, hey, here's that 3D model. I want to be able to look at it from multiple angles. I want to be able to see it on the wall here next to my bookshelf. I want to be able to see it in real space. Augmented reality is we place that 3D model that looks exactly like your product, and how we can manipulate it in 3D, and we can really use it as it's intended. You can rotate, zoom, and explore all these product details. You can place them with 100% accuracy in those real spaces so you understand it. And it reflects that real world lighting. I want to see how the light bounces off and what that looks like. All right. Here's an example of just a product on a white background, and it's a 3D model that we can use to look all around it. We can zoom in, we can see the textures, we can see how detailed it gets. Wow, that's a great chair. I'm looking at it from all these different angles instead of just a static image that won't really work. I can click this button here and we get the dimensions, 83 centimeters. Great, I now know exactly how tall it is. I now know how it'll fit in my space. It's perfect, and I can switch to a different metric system, a different measurement system if I want. That's fine, but I can click it on and off. I can see that picture, and I can see the 3D model in all its angles. I can see it from the top, bottom, everything. Great, perfect. Here's another example using it on mobile, and what we can do with our mobile phones is we can place it in that real space. So here's a corridor that we want a chair in perhaps, and we can move that chair all around. And what it does is it sticks to the ground, it makes a shadow, it has natural lighting, and we can see just how big it is in comparison to the rest of our space. We can really get an idea what this looks like when we want to place it in our homes. So what are some of the key benefits to this solution? The key benefits here is obviously that the customer gets a much better idea of your product, and what this will do is reduce the rate of returns. If someone's buying a product and they place it in their living room, they're like, you know what, I didn't think that it would look just this way in this lighting, and it didn't fit my space right, I'm gonna return it. So what our solution does is it reduces the rate of return, and indeed, because of that, it'll increase sales, increase revenue, increase cash flow. People say, hey, I know what that looks like. I know what it'll look like in my space. That'll increase the potential for a consumer to just visit, know what they're looking at, and buy your product. And it'll definitely boost your brand value because it adds an air of professionalism. It really gives an idea of what your product is, and it makes it seem as if you know what you're doing and you're presenting it to them in the best way possible. All right, what are some challenges to adopting 3D and AR with your products? So one of the main issues that if you wanted to present your product in 3D and AR is, one, you have to find someone to 3D model your product for you. And that can be difficult when it comes to finding the correct skill, the right people who know how to manipulate these objects to the correct sizes, put the textures on. And then after that's all done, you then need to store that file, and these files can get quite big. And what if you have 100 products, 200, 1,000 products? These all need to be stored somewhere, and then you need to be able to access them and put them on your website. And then it might be different across different platforms, across Android, iOS, Google, BlackBerry, Windows, right? All these different platforms that then need to be able to integrate this product just to be able to have it. And that doesn't even reach the last step. It doesn't even enable one to be able to look at it in AR on your website, have it be purely integrated. There's a whole lot of issues with just using 3D and AR without really understanding the space. And that's where I believe we come in and how we can provide our services. Now, what Vizbl does to solve these main problems is that we do everything in-house. We create the 3D models based on your product. You give us everything we need, and we recreate it down to the micrometer. We can make the product look exactly like yours with every minute detail. And we store those models so that you don't have to store them on site. You don't have to deal with these giant files that can get corrupted, that has difficulty moving around all across, the wires all around the world. We want this to be fast, right? Another issue with AR, compatibility across all the major devices, we deal with all this. We deal with the ability to seamlessly integrate with any website. You have your own website, you want to put this on, we can deal with that. That's what we do. So, some of our unique features, in addition to that, is that we recreated the software to be able to place your product in someone's home. But we recreated it so that you can put it anywhere. If you want to be able to put it on the floor, it matches the floor perfectly. What if you want to put it on a wall? Let's say you have a lamp, you have some pictures, you have, a cat hammock, and you want to see what it looks like on the ceiling, on the wall, on the floor. You want to know what that looks like. We built the models and the camera eye vision to be able to do all this. And you can place multiple objects at the same time. You want to know how your products relate to each other, not just to what's already in the existing space. I want to put this cupboard here, this chair here, and this here. Well, we can do all of them at the same time, all of these complex models with their texturing, with how it interacts with the lighting. We can put them all at the same time, and we can take a look, right? And that's what we can do in addition to everything else we've already mentioned. All right, here's some examples of what I just mentioned. We're taking these pictures, we're putting them onto the wall, rotating them, adding additional products through our list here. We could just search through your catalogs. Hey, what does this product look like from this company? I'm a consumer, I'm visiting your website. I really want to see what this looks like. I like these pictures, but you know what else I like? I'm thinking I'm really liking this lamp. But you know what else? I want another lamp there and another one. And I want to be able to manipulate it and move it around and see exactly what that looks like. All right, here's another example that we got. What about this chair? I don't like how it looks at that angle. I want to rotate it in this space. I want this other object here. I want to put this lamp here and see how that looks next to it. Okay, here's the size and here's how it looks in relation to it. Great. I want to add another thing, maybe, let's say, a table. I'm going to put that there. Here I have our living room. Maybe I'll put a rug down there. I can see how big things are in relation to each other, and I really think that adds a lot to the experience and makes these products a lot more understandable and desirable. All right. Vizbl's 3D modeling and AR solve real business problems, they build customer confidence, and they drive sales. We provide everything in-house that you'll need in order to have your product developed in 3D and augmented reality and integrated into your website, and this is immense when it comes to providing understandability for your product, desirability, ease of use. The customer can just understand it when they visit your website and look at it from different angles, and I just think that really is amazing how the consumer could just get an immediate sense for what your product is and how it fits into their space. All right, thank you so much for watching. If you want to reach out and talk to us, reach out to us at info@vizbl.us, and we're looking forward to talking to you. Thank you so much.